Thursday, January the 22nd, 2026, the City of Franklin Capital Investment Committee, who will call the meeting to order. We'll ask for a roll call attendance. Alderman Blanton.
Here.
There you go.
Thank you. Alderman Potts.
Present.
Alderman Berger is absent but should be here momentarily, and the chair is present. Consideration of changing the agenda. Or is there any discussion to remove or change consent items or any other items on the agenda?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as written.
Second.
Proper motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The chair votes yes. We can do that with a roll call or a voice vote,
They
right?
didn't stop you, so I'd keep going. Shh.
You should probably vote on that.
Roll call. Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Potts?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Citizen comments. Are there any citizens that wish to make a comment in the audience?
Ned?
Seeing that there are none, we'll move on to approval of the minutes. Consideration of the approval of the minutes for December the 11th, 2025. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call vote. Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Potts?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. It's approved. On to new business. Item number 3, consideration of a draft amendment 1 to City of Franklin contract number 2024-0290 with Xenon Environmental Corporation for water treatment plant membrane service and maintenance in an amount not to exceed $51,185.
So this is the water plant, our membranes.
It's just multitasking here.
Okay. Our membranes are nearing 8 years old, which we're getting near the anticipated kind of service life of them. So what Xenon is who is bought Suez, who is the manufacturer of our membranes. They kind of help us do some forensics on those to see when, kind of help us look at that degradation to kind of see when we're going to need to start budgeting to replace them. So that's what this is we worked with IT to be able to establish a secure connection where data only flows one way, not the other way. So they can see the membranes, but they can't do anything to the membranes. And that's essentially all this is just their input. And then if we need service, they'll come and provide service. So this was in our budget. It's kind of annually in our budget every year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
No, sir.
All right, roll call. Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Potts?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Thank you, Michelle. Item number 4, consideration of a draft resolution 2025-104, a resolution authorizing the execution of City of Franklin contract number 2025-0481 with Valor Contractors, LLC for Echelon Lockwood Glen site infrastructure project completion. Paul, Jimmy, or Paul?
This is where the developer failed to perform, and so went through planning commission to call the bonds, went to a competitive bidding process. Valor Construction was the low bid at $84,791.52. And the total amount that we have in the called bonds is $121,000. So we'll be able to cover these improvements. There's a 1-year warranty on it, and we're asking for a $20,000 contingency for any unforeseen conditions, although it's landscaping, so I'm not predicting or foreseeing any unforeseen conditions. Happy to answer any questions.
Motion to approve with question.
Second.
All right.
What happens to the excess of that? If I'm doing the math correct, it's going to be leftovers.
I can't say for certain, but I assume
Does
it's
it
going to
go
go.
back to
I
the
assume it goes
bondholder?
back to the
Yeah.
bondholder. Yes, it is not our money. It's
So it's a loss for them, but not a total loss.
correct.
They're going to pay the price. Literally.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank staff. I've been in contact with Echelon Lockwood Glens HOAs. This has been a process and a pain point for them. And so I'm glad that this was able to go out to bid and get it under the 80 plus thousand for expense. And what do we think the turnaround time for completion might be on this?
About a month
About
from
1
when we
month?
tell them to start. Yes, sir.
And what do we think the start date might be?
I don't have an exact start date. We want to get the contract in place and then sit down with the contractor. We want to do it before the heat of the summer. So I assume wintertime's a good time. We met with the contractor. So I would say within the next 2 months, we should be able to start and get it done.
Okay. And so we anticipate that being completed probably by April, May.
Yes, yeah, but we'll be in
We'll say
constant contact with the HOA. They're aware of it. We're gonna make sure they do the final walkthrough inspection with us.
Okay.
And then, obviously, irrigation's a key component to this, that they know that they have to continue to irrigate and water these plants through the summer for that 1-year warranty to be in place.
Okay, good. And just as this is in my ward, if you don't mind, just CC me to that, just so we can streamline the communications.
Again, it's actually being managed out of our planning department, but
Okay.
I will pass this along to them and we'll make sure you're involved.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
This was one, I'm sorry, was there any other? This was one, there were a couple bonds for these that came up. There was one that was bigger that we thought we might not have enough bonding limit to get to actually complete the job. I don't recall. Do you remember we have that discussion? Remember we increased the bond requirements moving forward because there was a fear, and I believe Echelon or something over there. There was a bond where the old percentage wasn't going to be enough to actually complete when we called the bond. That was that probably not this bond?
That was not this. There was a stormwater bond that was
That's what-
called and we were able to cover it with the money that was in place.
Okay, all right, that's good.
So we were lucky there.
Excellent. All right, is there any further discussion?
I would just mention, we're going through this systematically over the last year or so. You're gonna see more of these as we try to address them and close out where we can. So this is just one of more you'll probably see as we try to work through, close out everything possible.
Yeah, some of it we're looking at process of how we can quickly and efficiently call these bonds and get these projects done. But there's a whole committee that has been put together that's evaluating how we can systematically get these completed.
Yeah, we may do a procurement. I think what I'm hearing is we may do a procurement that gives us some kind of on-call services to help do this work. So we don't have to do we did a bid for this specific work, right?
Yes.
So we don't have to necessarily do that all the time. We can do that on we have those ready to go and it doesn't create as much process and delay.
Correct.
As we go through and call these and we get actual costs back, and if we see that the bond limits that we had been charging seem to be sufficient, I would like to look at that. Maybe probably another year, but I think if we do see that, maybe they were sufficient to begin with.
Yeah, I think once we get a process in place, we got to figure out how we engage and involve the board and be transparent about the costs and what's being covered, what we can't do. So that committee is continuously working on it.
As we raised it
I know.
50%, I think we did it was like a 1.5, I can't remember, 150%. So there was some significant raise in the bonding requirements. And so I don't know, I think we said at that time, we'll keep an eye on it. And as we get these coming through, I think that'll be good to see if the old bond limits were sufficient. And I bet project by project, if it's stormwater, if it's street, whatever it is, it's probably different because
Yeah.
some of those other costs are going up. All right, any further discussion? We'll take it to vote. Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Potts?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Thank you. All right, item number 5, consideration of a draft amendment for the City of Franklin contract number 2019-0097 with Tennessee Department of Transportation for the 96 Murfreesboro Road Traffic Signal Improvement Project. Paul?
So we are simply, with this agreement, changing the date to May 31st, 2026. The project is completed, but this will allow us to get final reimbursement on the job and officially close out that project.
Is there a motion?
I'd like to move to approve the the agenda item.
Second.
Any discussion?
I will just quickly add, I think that the improvements that have been made with the median, with no U-turns, the additional couple of signs that were also put up have made a big difference. I hope that we can see a traffic count maybe and see that this intersection or this stretch of road has significant decrease as far as accidents go. So thanks to everybody that's been involved.
Yep. We plan to do a before and after study. We have the before information. We just need to give some time to see how the accident counts drop substantially.
Okay, excellent.
Do we have before and after for this particular signal? I know Adam had partial, maybe preliminary results on how the signal timing might have helped, but maybe that would be interesting too as well. On the
This
signal
is more
time.
modernization, changing out cabinets, changing out equipment, adding technology.
Right.
I can
This
follow up
wasn't
with-
the traffic signal coordination.
This was not a coordination,
All right,
no.
never mind then. Well, but the data for that other project would still be interesting.
Yes. That was done in the Cool Springs area. I'll see if I can find that and get.
We did
that
it on the
information.
96 corridor though, too, right?
It's been a while since we've done 96, to my recollection.
All right,
I'll
we'll
have to look
talk
back.
offline.
Okay.
I could be mistaken. Is there any more discussion? Let's vote. Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Potts?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Item number 6, draft contract 2026-0008 with Gresham Smith for conceptual design analysis of the Franklin Road, State Road 6 widening project in amount not to exceed $286,445.
So this was obviously funded through the CIP prioritization process. What we're going to do is initially get the survey completed. We're going to look at 2 or 3, the scope includes up to 3 scenarios. And what that'll do is look at the improvements short-term and long-term, and we can bring that back for the board's consideration. The one thing that makes me nervous is spending 5 years to do a project and then to find out, hey, we need to do the southbound lanes as well. We just did the 2 northbound lanes. And so we want to look at short-term, mid-term, long-term improvements, 3 different options, look at the impacts those have to the property owners, and then bring that back for BOMA consideration. What I'm understanding this scope to be was kind of the bare minimum build, not including sidewalks and trails and curb and gutter. It was more the TDOT standard of trying to get lanes to move traffic. And so we can look at up to 3 options, and we'll bring that back for BOMA consideration.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, we'll vote. Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Potts?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Thank you. Item number 7, consideration of draft City of Franklin contract 2026-0009 with Sullivan Engineering for the Paytonsville Road Improvement Project in the amount not to exceed $547,562.60.
So the board had allocated funding to do improvements on Paytonsville Road. In discussion with the surrounding property owners, there was a desire to form a public-private partnership to move this forward and maybe do the total project. What that discussions have been to date was that they would potentially dedicate the right-of-way at no cost, but more for, well, it would be a cost, but they would dedicate the right-of-way for a future offset that they would get when development would move forward, which would substantially reduce our project costs and help us to deliver the project quicker. Again, what we're asking for and what we talked about before was moving forward with option 3, which includes a portion of Goose Creek, but it's mainly Paytonsville Road improvements, and then bring back those costs to the board for consideration. And if we needed to, we could always scale the project down a little bit to either option 1 or option 2. But for the design at this point, we're recommending option 3. We're in discussions also with the property owners about how to best deliver this project through construction. Whether we partner with Reams Fleming or Chapter 2 is kind of up in the air, or whether the city takes it on. I think doing a public-private partnership would help us reduce the costs and deliver it faster long-term. So we're in those discussions. This will at least get the design moving forward and allow us to acquire the right-of-way.
The contract is wrong. In the description of the contract posted online, it states, Goose Creek bypassing the road extension doesn't reference Paytonsville.
Yeah, there's an error in the title, and we'll fix that. It's in draft format now. It's going through legal review, but by the time it comes back to you, that'll be fixed. The scope is all about Paytonsville Road. The memo is all about Paytonsville Road.
If you vote on the amendment, though, it was for others to be included on.
Sir,
I was just pointing out a mistake. I just want to make sure it's correct.
And there's no approval at this meeting, this is a recommendation to the full board, and it's a draft contract, so that title will be fixed. And like you said, the scope is accurate.
thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
We'll vote. Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Potts?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Item number 8, capital projects dashboard and status updates for January 2026. Jonathan?
Only a couple of things I would offer is, and we've had some discussions on it, is people may have noticed that the new signal at Donaldson Creek and Lewisburg Pike is now in flash operation. So we put that in flash yesterday, and it stays in flash for 7 days just to give people every day of the week time to get used to the signal being in operation before we turn the stop go operation, put it in full operation. So sometime middle of next week we'll put it in full operation.
It's a flash not to cause any stops or pauses. It's just to say, hey, I'm here.
Correct. Essentially, right now, it only operates.
Because usually yellow flashing lights they have different reasons. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
so right now, it just operates essentially like the existing roadway did. So it flashes in yellow on the main line on Lewisburg, and that people just use caution. And on the side streets, it does flash red, so that means stop until you can go. That's pretty common with signals, and that's typically what we do when any new signal turn on is a 7-day flash period. The other thing I would offer is right around the holidays. This is interesting. For the Pearl, we actually had delivery of LEG's playground equipment. Now, it's not installed or anything like that. It's not even on site right now. It's actually the water management team has graciously allowed us to store it at the water reclamation facility over off Claude Yates. So we've got it stored right now, but it did come in. So it's interesting to start seeing some materials like that come in now. Came in on multiple semi trucks. So a lot of stuff going on. That's really what I have for updates. Unless you have any questions.
Sir, I'll move to approve agenda item number 8 with additional comment.
Sure, we don't really.
Yeah.
approve
You don't really
it.
need
It's
an
just
action.
discussion.
Right.
We don't need a,
Yeah.
But thanks for trying.
yeah. I just wanted to say thanks. As far as Lewisburg Pike signalization, I know that there's a lot of excitement. Send a lot of text, a lot of emails coming forward right now. I received 2 emails from constituents specific to this, and it just wanted to say thanks to everyone that's worked on this to make this happen. And then another one here is that this is great information that the city is providing, working on our infrastructure. So citizens are really excited about this improvement.
Yeah, we've actually got more people excited about this signal improvement than we do with some of our major projects. So it's been very interesting on this one. I will mention one other thing I didn't share was we did find out over the holidays actually that we did receive a Safe Streets and Roads for All implementation grant. So you remember we did the safety action plan about 1.5 years ago and completed that, and you guys approved it actually about 6 months ago. We did find out that we did get a grant through the FHWA USDOT for it was $8 million in federal funds.
Wow.
So $10 million. That's an 80-20 match. So $10 million project cost, $8 million in federal funds for that, and that's for West Main Street. So Carter Creek, well, West Main Street for us, 246 SR 246. So that'll involve installing some sidewalks, some pedestrian crossings. Looking at intersections, and overall looking at safety on that corridor. It's not a full widening of the corridor, but it's looking at safety.
Starting where and ending where?
The goal of the grant is to start at Downs Boulevard and go all the way to North Petway.
Okay.
I don't know with that amount of money that we'll be able to go that entire distance. That's one of the things we want to look at during design is make sure we're starting with that budget. Now, if the board chooses they want to add some additional and want to go further, depending on what the money can do, that'll be something we'll be very cognizant of during the process of design.
There's not a lot of road frontage down that corridor, so I'm just curious. Like, when you talk about sidewalks, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, needed,
Yes.
but
We want to strategically do it and where it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Congratulations on the grant.
Yeah.
That
One of our
total,
last gifts from Adam Mosier. He was the one who submitted that grant. So.
All right.
that total capital project was like 40 million. Yeah, I believe that's the total.
Yes, or somewhere along that range.
In
It's,
that range. I mean,
that was for the full widening to a 3-lane section with curb and gutter and all that good stuff. So, and that was actually from Downs Boulevard all the way to I think was it? No, I think it was further than North Petway. But yeah, that was for the full widening, the whole shebang. This would not be that project.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I'll be glad to see that design come through because I get a lot of constituents in that area who bring it up.
Absolutely, and that'll be something we can look at when we actually get the project kicked off with the feds. Is how we want to do that design too, because that may be something where we want to look at what the overall design would be in the future and kind of integrate those two together.
I had one question about Mac Hatcher and Hillsborough. I know that we had gotten close to the bridge or the intersection there, Mac Hatcher and Hillsborough, where we are on that. Just status update.
Paul just told me the survey is complete for that, so
Oh, good.
then we'll move into the design process to actually get that designed.
Excellent. Because that was going to be that one was going to be hopefully a,
A quicker win,
Once it goes-
yeah, quicker win than
fairly
a normal
quick.
project, yes.
once it goes to construction, but you know. Well, great, that'd be great. Are you looking at the other side of, so I know we looked at the bridge side, but what, look at the other side too for the left-hand turn there on.
Yes, we are
Hillsborough.
looking at, we're looking at both intersections.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Motion to adjourn.
Well, I got one other item. I did not fail to mention that the Mayor Moore is here. I did not call you in the attendance, but I wanted to recognize, for the record, that the Honorable Mayor Ken Moore is here. So thank you for being here. All right, motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.